Hello, I'm Lara Kılçarslan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. From rolling blackouts to food and medicine shortages, the US imposed fuel blockade on Cuba is having a tremendous impact on daily life. The restrictions have caused a severe energy crisis, with the Cuban government forced to impose hours-long power cuts. International flights have also been halted. Locals say it's paralyzing the Caribbean nation of 11 million people.
Our administration is going to starve Cuba. That's what they're doing. They put a blockade up for fuel January 9th. We are now on, February? Their fuel is running low. And they told other countries if they step in to help that they will sanction and tariff them, basically threatening them to go and help the Cuban people. Their entire industry runs on fuel, and another country has just decided you can't have any more. They can't power their businesses. They won't be able to power their hospitals. They won't be able to make sure medicine gets to where it needs to go. They won't be able to pick up people in an ambulance or ride people in a bus to where they need to go to work. Power outages will happen more frequently and possibly for longer due to the fact that they don't have fuel. We are starving a country. Our country is not talking about this enough because some people are hoping that it's going to enact democratic change. It's not. You know what this does? Those people will grow up and be angry at our country and angry at our civilization. And people don't grow up to love us when we starve them out of their house and home.
US President Donald Trump imposed a total blockade on oil to Cuba. While the American president says he wants to unseat Cuba's communist government, his actions are hurting ordinary people. Now, a group of activists and humanitarians are planning to break the US blockade. Inspired by Gaza's Sumut flotilla, they expect to set sail in March. Their flotilla will carry much-needed food and medical supplies.
It's very important for asthmatics to have salbutamol to stop an attack.
So I had an asthma attack in Holguin, Cuba. And I just really needed some relief and some salbutamol. They don't have any salbutamol because they can't get it in the United States. But this they have. And I walked in the door, they only asked me my name and my age, and they put me on this.
Even before the latest US embargo, Cuba was already in crisis. Its economy has been a 4-year slump, and it is facing hyperinflation. More than 20% of its population has migrated. Yet, having Washington step in and effect change in what President Trump calls a failed nation may not be the answer. But after Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro was captured in January, Havana may have no choice but to strike a deal with Washington.
Look at a map and just check any administrations that sort of don't align with America, get a bit too aggressive, the economic model, their governance model is a bit too jarring for America. Expect America to want to bring you some freedom and democracy. Maybe if you have oil, definitely expect some freedom and democracy to be coming your way. So Cuba now is boxed into a corner. My analytical forecast: if the administration in Cuba calculates pragmatically, they will come to a deal. They'll have to cut a deal with America, the current administration of Cuba. If not, they have to hold out a lot longer. And this isn't Iran. This isn't the other side of the world from the US. This isn't North Korea that's nuclear armed. Cuba is right next door to great power America, and it doesn't really have any other options. For better or worse, falling in line for Cuba might be the only way forward for the administration and for the people of Cuba. Because help is not on the way. So the socialist project for now has to be put on hold.
At weddings, couples often pledge "till death do us part." But while some marriages don't last forever, it appears that pact with Meta is forever, even after death. The tech giant has secured a patent for an AI system that could let users keep posting, even though they're 6 feet under. The patent says the system could step in when a user is absent, whether they are taking a break or deceased.
And that includes likes, comments, shares, all that jazz. It also includes more advanced technology possibilities up here at the top, including simulating audio or video calls after they reconstruct your persona.
This is not the tech dystopia cyberpunk nightmare that I wanted to inherit.
Zuckerberg claims that they have no plans to actually roll this out. He just wants the patent there just in case they decide to do it one day. Sure, Jan. But this falls right into the dead internet theory. That is a theory that's saying that most of the internet is just AI-generated content and bots talking to each other, which this would be. I mean, think of it. We're all dying off, and younger people are not signing up for Facebook, I can tell you that much. So it's just gonna be our dead personas talking to each other.
While some tech companies are trying to extend life online, others say AI is not exactly making life easier in the real world. It is supposed to make jobs easier, but a study suggests just the opposite. Researchers from University of California, Berkeley tracked employees at a 200-person US tech company for 8 months and found generative AI didn't reduce workloads, but intensified them.
This report said that the impact of AI on work results, broadly speaking, in 3 things: task expansion, blurred boundaries, and multitasking. Initially, people were super excited with the ability to expand into tasks that they just couldn't do before. Think everyone working with vibe coding tools, etc. However, over time, people are facing cognitive fatigue or an expansion in scope creep, and they're just not able to pull that back.
So workers described that process, the work intensification, as just trying new things with AI, when in fact they were actually just working a lot harder and doing things that weren't their job.
And then there's a blurring of boundaries. What you have here is a self-reinforcing situation where AI does tasks faster. Because it does tasks faster, the company requires more tasks to be done. Because more tasks are required to be done, then people use AI because that's the only way to do it.
ChatGPT is now better than your doctor.
ChatGPT just diagnosed a 4-year-old boy that had been seen by 17 doctors over 3 years and couldn't find the cause for his symptoms.
Let's see if ChatGPT can diagnose me.
Friend sends ChatGPT results to doctor confirms they made a mistake, and ChatGPT is right.
ChatGPT diagnosed my thyroid cancer before my doctors did.
ChatGPT actually diagnosed me way before doctors did.
Scroll through social media long enough, and you'll see people claiming artificial intelligence diagnose their illnesses faster than a doctor. It's free, it's instant, and it doesn't require a waiting room. More and more users are turning to tools like ChatGPT or Google's AI overviews to interpret symptoms, suggest treatments, or even assess mental health concerns. But doctors and researchers are sounding the alarm. They warn that consulting AI for medical advice can be dangerous, especially if it delays or replaces a visit to a qualified healthcare professional.
If you're trusting ChatGPT and other large language models for your health information, I'm going to give you a warning. It's a great tool, but you can't always trust it. You can actually get ChatGPT to recommend thalidomide to pregnant women. Thalidomide causes birth defects. It's a horrible thing and for pregnant women. And there's no way any doctor would ever recommend thalidomide for a pregnant woman, but ChatGPT with the right prompt will recommend this to a pregnant woman. You've just got to be careful and make sure that you're not relying only on these large language models for your health information.
Recent reporting has intensified those concerns. An investigation by The Guardian newspaper found that Google's AI-generated summaries, which appear at the top of search results, may not clearly warn that the information could be wrong. Google says its AI overviews encourage users to seek professional help when appropriate. But the reporting found disclaimers were not always visible upfront. Instead, warnings only appeared if users clicked Show More. And even then, safety labels were displayed below the generated advice, in smaller text, easy to miss. Following the report, Google removed AI overviews for some, but not all medical searches. Disclaimers matter because they warn against blind trust and remind users that an algorithm is not a doctor. Even the most advanced AI systems can still hallucinate, confidently presenting incorrect information as fact. But accuracy isn't the only issue. Asking the right question matters just as much.
Researchers split nearly 1,300 participants into 2 groups and gave them symptoms such as a severe headache. One group could use AI to help figure out what might be wrong and what to do next. The other had to search online without chatbot assistance. The findings were revealing. Participants using AI often struggled to phrase their symptoms accurately. Many didn't know what follow-up questions to ask. And researchers found people had difficulty distinguishing which parts of the AI's response were useful and which weren't. In other words, even when the tool works as designed, the human-AI interaction itself can introduce risk.
Major AI firms are trying to address this. Companies like OpenAI and Anthropic have released health-focused chatbot versions, aimed at improving safety and accuracy. But researchers warn that better design doesn't eliminate a fundamental issue. AI systems generate responses based on patterns in data. They do not examine patients, they do not run tests, and they do not carry medical responsibility. Cambridge University is the latest institution to agree to return 116 artifacts from England to Nigeria, objects seized and stolen during colonialism. Still, a vast number remain locked away in various European countries.
The artifacts that we know today as the Benin bronzes are the cultural heritage of the Kingdom of Benin and its capital Benin City, which is today in Edo State in southern Nigeria. The best known are probably the commemorative heads. These are portrait heads that represented the Oba, or Divine King of Benin, and the Ioba, or the Queen Mother. And they would have been part of royal shrines to ancestors that were dotted throughout the royal palaces in Benin City.
The revelation has renewed calls for repatriation, with Nigeria repeatedly demanding the return of cultural treasures taken during colonial rule. Several institutions have already begun returning Benin artifacts, while others face growing pressure to follow suit.
But what if you could go further? What if you could build a team and get those artifacts back yourself? Well, a team of Pan-African designers have built what they call an African futurist heist game, where players break into Western museums and private collections and return artifacts to the countries they were stolen from. Relooted is designed by the team with a deliberate lack of violence and with the goal of building awareness of looted African artifacts.
There are hundreds, actually thousands of these around the world from different African countries that are in museums in different places. So we have 70 artifacts. They're all real and they are all actually currently in Western museums. And those are the targets of the game. I also hope that the game encourages people from other African countries to tell their own stories, to want to tell their own stories and want to bring these things to light.
Gazans are once again having to observe Ramadan under the shadow of war. Despite harsh conditions, displaced families are decorating their surroundings with whatever limited means they have, trying to bring a sense of normalcy and the spirit of Ramadan to their children. It is yet another reminder of the resilience of Gazans. Once again, China has used the Lunar New Year celebrations to showcase its cutting-edge humanoid technology. 4 companies, Unitree Robotics, Galbot, Noetics, and Magic Lab, demonstrated their products on CCTV's Spring Festival, which is China's most watched show. It has a viewership comparable to the Super Bowl in the United States. The performance did not disappoint with its acrobatics and its theatrics. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.